Marriage is not important until you're in a real life situation where you cannot make.
Go listen to both of those Two Stitch videos that are very important on marriage. And this is coming from a woman who never wanted to get married. Marriage is huge in my family, right? And I see marriage as not just a piece of paper, but marriage is about love and it's about business. Okay. So let me tell you what happened when my father died. So my parents got divorced when I was a year old. And my mother did remarry a few years later to my stepfather. But at the time in 2003, when my dad passed away of a heart attack, my mother was divorced. So she was not married to anyone else. So she's divorced from my father, divorced from my stepfather. My father never remarried, ever. The only living wife he's ever had was my mother. So when we did a search to find out, is there money, assets, life insurances, things like that, at the time we could only find one policy, which was a death benefit through my father's correction officer's career, pension, or whatever. So I had a death benefit, and the death benefit was in my name. Okay. At the time when my father was working as a correction officer, he was married to my mother, and I was born. He already had a daughter 10 years before I was even born. There was nothing with her name on it. So there's two lessons in this, right? There was nothing with her name on it. No life insurance, no death benefit. There was nothing. He never even signed that young lady's birth certificate. So technically, he really wasn't legally her father. Okay? My name was on everything, and I even inherited his Mercedes Benz. Okay? Because he had my name on everything. Why? Because I was a child that was birthed in that marriage with my mother. When I went to the funeral home and I said, you know what? I don't even want this money. I'm going to put the money towards embalming my father, doing his wake. And I took the death benefit and I went to the funeral home. And when I went to go do business with the funeral home, the man said, okay, sign here, but where's his wife? And I said, what wife? My father doesn't have a wife. He said, who's Renee? I said, Renee's my mother. He said, well, according to New York State, even though they're divorced, she is still considered his only living wife. I need your signature and your mother's signature. Is your mother alive? And I said, yes, she's alive. My mother had to come with me to the funeral home to sign those papers for my father's body to be released to the funeral home. My dad's girlfriend, who he had been with for 25 years, was flipping out. What? Why does Renee have to come down here and sign these papers? I'm his woman. So the funeral home guy's like, are you his wife? Are y'all legally married? Did he sign any documents for you? Oh, okay, no. So she's still considered legally his wife. What? She is storming out the funeral home. She's pissed. Everybody is so confused. I don't even know how this law works, but that's what would happen when my father died. Going to the half-sister. I don't have a relationship with her. She was pissed. She was so pissed that there was nothing in her name. Why does she get everything? Why does she have money? Why does she have his car? Why does she have... Because why? I was a child that was born in wedlock. He didn't even sign her birth certificate. The importance of marriage. Marriage is not just a paper. And these men know that. Even if that man loves you and he doesn't believe in legal marriage, he will sign every fucking document for his children and for you to make sure that if anything ever happens to him, y'all would be good. Y'all would have life insurance, policies, assets set up, healthcare proxies, all that would be set. A will if he loves you. I had a friend once when he was going to Iraq. He had a long-term girlfriend from childhood. He married her because she wasn't a legal citizen. He said, you know what? I might die in Iraq. Let me marry her, make sure her papers are good. that's a fucking man that loves you. If a man's not doing this, and yeah, I don't believe in marriage, no problem, love. But make sure he's got his, if he don't got you together, make sure he has his children together. And if he got something, make sure he signed that birth certificate. A lot of y'all baby daddies is dusty, crusty, ain't got nothing anyway, so they ain't got to sign a birth certificate. But if you got somebody who got something, make sure he signs that birth certificate. So your child, just in case something happens, they can get something. And I've definitely in the past and later on ended up with something. My grandmother didn't give me no life insurance money. She kept it. That was another thing. My father entrusted my grandmother with all his finances. They even went into business together. But it took years for me to get my inheritance, so to say. But be careful with that. There's a lot of narcissistic moms doing business with their sons and with their daughters, and they will make sure their grandkids don't get shit. So please be careful with this. Make them marry you, okay? And if not, set up the paperwork. Marriage is not just a relationship. It's a business.